I'm Lee from the Oshkosh Beer Blog.
I'm Adam from McKnight & Carlson Wines.
And we're going to do something a little different today. We have two IPAs, one that kind of represents where the style was, and another that represents where the style is and maybe where it's going. So we're going to start with Tom from Lakefront Brewery. This is part of their My Turn series, which is they basically get somebody within the brewery to...
Yeah, not necessarily a brewer even. Just could be somebody, I know they mentioned on the packaging, somebody on the bottling line, somebody who stacks cases, etc.
Yeah, and this, okay, now you say that. So this is a production worker at Lakefront whose name is Tom, and it's his idea for the beer, I guess. So
awesome.
Why don't we dig into that thing? This is a 6% ABV IPA, 62 IBUs, 63 IBUs,
okay.
And it's all Citra hops.
All Citra.
All Citra.
Nice,
which is kind of like the popular thing, you know? I mean,
I've heard that. So nice kind of golden bordering on light amber color.
Yeah. Unfiltered beer, I assume, too.
Yeah.
Or gently filtered.
Yeah.
It's nice to see. It's tan head. I do get like the hops are, this is a hoppy beer.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's what you first get. But I do get a little bit of like a biscuit, kind of maybe a Munich or Vienna malt.
No, I guess the sweet citrus fruit notes that I'd expect are not quite as strong.
I do pick that up though, and I'm getting like almost like a candied fruit, like something you'd have in a, one of those Christmas cakes or
Sure, yeah, pound cake type thing.
Yeah. I get kind of like a mango maybe.
Yeah.
Orange.
I get one note that I don't particularly care for. It's kind of a metallic note. I'm gonna try it again, see if that comes through again. Yeah, a little bit. I don't know, but
I
do get a rush of citrus fruit, which is nice. So we had this beer on tap at Gardina's recently, and it's night and day, bottle and tap. I think out of the bottle, it's a much better beer. I was really underwhelmed on tap. Yeah. So we had this on tap next to Ale Asylum's Velveteen Habit, which is also a Citra IPA, and that beer blew this beer out of the water on draft. And also with regard to the opaqueness or not, that beer is definitely cloudier, I think, which maybe means some more hop particles in it.
Yeah, it's probably.
Yeah. So
this is where things have kind of headed towards. People are hung up on beers like Zombie Dust, and Pseudo Sue, and Velveteen Habit's another all Citra beer. Where it's a lot of hop flavor, but it's the bitterness is pretty gentle.
Yeah.
It's not a piercing beer.
Yeah.
So
for the layperson with regards to beer, what does that mean with hop additions in the boil or not in the boil?
Yeah, so typically the hops are going in either late in the boil or it's dry hop, even after the boil when they're cooling the beer down, whirlpooling it.
Okay, so you get more aromatics that way and not as much bitterness.
More aromatic, more flavor. It doesn't boil off all the essential oils that kind of contribute to that. When those are gone, you're left with bitterness.
Sure.
So it's a gentler sort of bitterness and more hop flavor coming from it. And it's fairly light bodied.
It is.
I mean, for a 6% beer, it seems it's an easy drinking beer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I gotta say I do like this better out of the bottle than on draft, like I said, but I'm still kind of underwhelmed given the hype behind this hop and what people who see Citra and think, oh my god, I have to try that beer. This definitely falls short of a Zombie Dust or a Pseudo Sue in my opinion, but it's still very nice. I mean,
and is that that's part of it too. When you've got these beers that have become like icons using this hop, and others come along and they do the same sort of thing.
Yeah,
it's the comparisons are inevitable.
Well, and who knows what we don't have Jim Klisch here to say here's what we were going for. Yeah. We just have this beer on hand to taste, and who knows as far as how many pounds of hops went into this. If they were just going for something that was, if there is such a thing as balance in a beer like this, something that's more balanced than something that they just hop the shit out of. So I
would say it is kind of balanced. I mean, it does.
Yeah.
When like now, with a lot of IPAs, you're left with a lot of residual bitterness in your mouth. I don't really have that right now.
No, it's fairly clean actually.
Okay, now let's go to the other end of the spectrum. So this is Ballantine's IPA, and so Ballantine, this was a very old brewery. They started brewing this in the late 1870s, and it's a very interesting beer. How it was prior to Prohibition, even after Prohibition. So it was aged on wood for a year. You don't think about aging IPAs for a year, yeah. And even up until like 1970, this beer was still over 7% ABV.
Wow, which for the time was
significant.
Yeah.
So Ballantine closed, or they got bought out by Falstaff, and through mergers, Pabst ended up acquiring the Ballantine label, and they brewed it up until 1996. They stopped brewing it, but then 2014, Pabst brought it back. It's being brewed now in Minnesota, Cold Springs. Minnesota.
Okay, sure.
Brewery
Contract brewery.
Yeah. So the first thing is, they aged this on oak for a year. They used to, no longer.
Okay.
But now they're doing oak spirals in the bright tank. Do you pick up oak?
I got a little, I was going to say, right off the bat, I got a little bit of woodiness.
I think I do, and I don't know if it's just from knowing that, if it's suggestion, but
yeah.
And I get like a sherry almost.
Like almost an oxidized note?
Yeah, and I think, we'll drink it.
On the palate, you definitely get a sherry-like note.
I think it's coming from caramel malt. I think there's a big, like a fairly dark caramel malt that's contributing it, because it doesn't taste oxidized to me.
No, it doesn't. No, not like a flaw or anything like that.
But the bitterness is substantial.
Yeah.
It's lingering. It's heavy.
Well, you don't have a citrus fruit to wipe the palate clean. It's kind of, if I had to guess, this is going to build as we continue.
It keeps giving, yeah. I get, like, in the aroma, I even get, there's some pine in there, maybe a little pineapple, but I get
slight floral notes, but that's about it.
Yeah, it's not a lot of hop aroma.
No,
And it sort of reminds me of like a barley wine.
Yeah, definitely.
So this is 7.4% ABV and 70 IBUs. So
okay, wow.
I'm kind of surprised Pabst would go that strong with it.
Yeah, yeah. Now, what hops do we think are in here? Is it?
Yeah, I think
Centennial Cascade, or is it?
Yeah, historically they use these hops like bullion that nobody grows anymore.
Yeah, sure.
But now I'm pretty sure it's Cascade, Centennial. I think they mentioned they use some Fuggles in there on the label.
Okay.
I'm not sure. But it's not really hop flavor. It's just hop bitterness.
Yeah, yeah.
So, do you like it?
I do. It's a refreshing change of pace from this style, which is, whether it's Citra or not, you can find citrusy IPAs just about anywhere now, and everybody's making one. But this is kind of harkens back to the traditional style, and it's
that's what I was kind of
nice.
thinking. So when Fritz Maytag started making Liberty Ale, and Ken Grossman at Sierra Nevada started making Celebration Ale, this is the beer that they cited as their influence.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and so you can see this transition from these IPAs, because the early American, from the 90s, those IPAs in the 2000s, they were bitter like this.
Yeah, well, and they were more malt forward too.
Yeah.
And I think we've talked in past episodes about the Midwest style IPA, which I think is still kind of, that's the house style here, is more malt forward, more piney, and not quite as juicy hop forward. But obviously guys like Zombie Dust and Pseudo Sue are quickly changing that.
Yeah, it's going in a new direction fairly quickly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So so when that was at the end, Ballantine was being brewed in Milwaukee in 1996. Okay. By that time Lakefront was up and going. I'm not sure if they had an IPA going.
Yeah, I don't know if they did.
But it's kind of nice to see how this all transitioned.
Yep. Absolutely.
To another. All right.
Interesting
beers.
Cheers, Lee.
Prost, Adam.